Hola, mi amigos. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Fitness Business Life podcast. I'm here today with my co-host, Mr. Steve Clark. Steve, do you want to say hello, Ermin?
How's it going, guys? Hope you're doing well.
So, Steve, what are we discussing today, dude?
Apparently Spanish.
Spanish, okay. I'm taking lessons again. I haven't spoken Spanish since school, but we have a few Spanish clients in here, and I try to converse with them a little bit, so it kind of rubs off every now and again, and it just blurt out a little bit.
I think I just know the essentials like beer and pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza's the same in every language, I'm pretty sure. Today we're going to talk about an all or nothing approach to fitness, business and life.
Yeah. So the all or nothing syndrome that kills so many dreams, so many careers, so many fitness aspirations, like literally everything that you can think of, because you know we speak to people every single day in life, yourself on the gym floor, me in the classroom, and people have, you know, big dreams, goals, aspirations, and they want to do great things, but you know what you find a lot of the time is this sort of all or nothing approach, where if something like the smallest thing doesn't go their way, it's like I'll just forget about that. You know, I haven't got to the point where I thought it would be right now, so I'm just going to leave it. It doesn't matter. Now we know you have some experience in this in the past as well.
Yeah, the experience that I would have would be in terms of, you know, like the fitness aspect of things, body transformation.
Yep.
And the way that I always think about it is people always have great dreams and ideas of things that they want to do or achieve, and maybe that their head isn't in the right place at the time that it comes to doing it. So for years before I actually eventually went to a gym and started losing weight and looking after my health and stuff, my dad had been on to me for ages and ages and ages, saying, you know, you're going to have to do something, you're going to stop eating the way you're eating, and you're going to need to start exercising and stuff. And I always said, yeah, I know. I never did anything about it. But I think somewhere in everybody there's an element of that, but there's a line that everybody needs to kind of cross before their head's in the right place to make the decision to do something. And whenever that happens, motivation is high. So the motivation is high, and they'll make the steps that they think that they need to make to go and do something about it, and they'll work their ass off. But if it's an all or nothing kind of approach, who knows how long that's going to last. Like you said, if they come to a hurdle and they stumble over it, suddenly everything's gone tits up, and sure, why am I doing anything anymore? Instead of having the approach of, let's just take it a step-by-step kind of way, and if we have a stumble, fuck it, we'll get back up and keep going from there.
I think, you know, everything takes a certain level of responsibility on the individual's part. So if it's to do with if it's to do with fitness, keeping yourself healthy, and what a lot of people don't realize is you kind of want to do it not for now, not for right now. I'm not training for now. I'm training for when I'm older, so that I can still do the things that I want to do. So that takes a certain level of responsibility to realize that. And sometimes people don't realize that. And you know, it's like, let's say even you're running a business or starting a business. A lot of people, you know, fail at the first hurdle, and it's like, I'm not doing all these things to get the result right now. I'm doing all these things to get the result 6, 8, 10, 12 months down the line.
With that, it kind of comes along with, you know, like things like products that are being sold, like and even the way we live day to day. Like, fuck, you can order anything and it's going to be in your doorstep, and in some cases
instant gratification.
So people are so used to like having things instantly, regardless of what it is, and then there's so many things that are pushed upon people, you know, like, just do this and in 3 weeks time you'll have 6-pack abs. You're like, fuck off.
It's what we're sold. It's what we're sold, and then people come to expect it.
But it kind of feeds on, obviously it feeds on people who don't know any better, but it's those people who don't know any better who will go in with the high motivation the all or nothing approach and last a week and then aren't prepared for the 6 month long term game that it actually is going to take.
Yeah. Do you know, I actually, I remember reading an article by James Clear, and he talks about how we're set up to live now, and he talks about it versus 200,000 years ago.
Right.
So we live in like a kind of instant reward, or sorry, I think he put it an instant reward, or the things that basically happen 200,000 years ago will impact you right away.
Yeah.
So your choice is to, I need to run far away right now because I'm going to get eaten alive by this animal.
Mm-hmm.
That impacts your thinking straight away, right? And then he talks about how now, like the things that go around, our minds are set up to have things straight away, but our society isn't set up that way.
Yeah.
We don't live in a society where you get handed something straight away after you've made the decision on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of more of a long-term society now, and that's happened over the last 200 years or so.
Yeah.
But our minds aren't built to deal with that. We're built to make decisions on the spot and say, this is the instant result that I'm going to get, purely because our minds are still roaming the African savannah saying, don't get eaten, find a place to sleep. All of the things that happen there and then dictate the outcome of your day or whether you live or survive, and basically that's how we still operate today.
So that's where the all or nothing kind of thing comes from. Like if you don't get it right now, then you're off put by what you've just done.
Yeah.
And if you're off put by what you've just done, you're not going to stick with it.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Like I said earlier, so it comes with a level of responsibility, right? And here's how I think about it. The biggest responsibility that anyone can take on this planet is looking after another human being, being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, the biggest responsibility anyone will ever undertake.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's no all or nothing approach there.
Yeah.
It's
happening.
It's happening whether you like it or not, and it's a matter of life and death. Let's face it. You can't take a day off if you have a 3-year-old. We know, right? So regardless of whether you're having a bad day or whether you're having a good day or whatever day your emotions feel like you're having, you can't say, I don't feel like being a parent today. Otherwise, that child goes hungry and it's
or gets sick or whatever. Yeah.
You can't negate that responsibility. And if you kind of think about it in those terms, well, I mean, if you can do that and you can take on the biggest responsibility in the world, then the rest of the stuff is kind of easy.
Yeah, becomes trivial.
It's like it is trivial.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you go to it with that sort of mentality, is I have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It literally is a matter of life and death. It's going to add cardiovascular fitness, strength is going to add quality and years to your life. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you're basically taking valuable time away from yourself.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if I don't take that same responsibility as I would do with a parent, then I'm affecting my own life, because if we think about it, if you take responsibility for someone else and you're not taking responsibility for yourself, essentially you're not doing either.
Yeah, how are you going to pass that on?
How are you going to pass that on?
And as well, obviously, whenever the years go on, what kind of a role model image are you? Yeah, are you?
Well, that was a big sort of transition period for you, wasn't it, when your Oliver was born?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like I was saying earlier, everyone has their line that they need to kind of cross to go.
Yeah.
I actually need to do something, and that was mine. Expecting Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I did have that all or nothing approach, and it was long enough. It was 9 months worth of all or nothing, and it was just, I got to do this, and the results kind of speak for themselves for the hard work that I put in. But once Oliver came along, then things were, taking a wee bit of a step back, and that's where I started finding the flexibility of, enjoying time as a parent, still training in the gym, not worrying if I had a pizza or an ice cream at the weekend and stuff like that there. So those kind of all or nothing like rules that I had before kind of became a bit more relaxed and stuff. But it didn't stop me from looking after myself and making sure that the priority is still there. That Oliver's, you know, still needs looked after and he needs a healthy dad and stuff. So that's why I'm still able to train. But at the same time, he's a kid. Yeah. We want to have fun with our kids and we want to look after them and stuff. So we go out for pizza and we go out for ice cream.
Yeah, absolutely love it. I think, you know, I was sort of thinking about this here. People do things based on their emotions, and we kind of touched on it earlier. On days where they don't feel like going to the gym, I'm just not going to go to the gym. And I think I said it in one of the earlier episodes of the podcast. Another example of people who play on their emotions, well, not people, dogs,
right,
and 3-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
But both of them shit on the carpet.
Probably not a good role model to follow.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you based your life around your emotions, like I've lost count how many times I didn't feel like going to the gym. I didn't feel like sparring. I didn't feel like coming into work. But if I based those days on my emotions, I call them tombstone days. You know, where you just don't want to do anything. Where you just like you waking up and the first thing you do, especially as being an entrepreneur, the first thing you do is go, I don't want to get out of bed today. This is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
And if I was to do exactly what my emotions were telling me to do, then I would never have gotten as far as I have today.
Yeah, you wouldn't get anything done.
You wouldn't get anything done. And like sometimes, you know, it's not perfect, like, but it doesn't have to be. Here's the thing, like if we take going to the gym for example, most people think that you have to go to the gym and you have to absolutely kill every single session. And you have to be a beast and you have to feel like a beast and you have to walk in motivated, walk out motivated, and it's like Rocky music playing the whole time you're there. But the reality is that some days you just go and you're just like, I'm not really feeling it today. And do you know what? The main thing is I showed up, because the most important thing when it comes to getting shit done is momentum.
Yeah.
And once you start to lose that momentum and then you start to drift into the nothing, you know, it's then harder to sway your way back.
It should be almost like instead of people thinking of like an all or nothing approach, they should be thinking about an approach that should be more like all or nothing or something. Do you know what I mean? Like you should always go for the something whenever you can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, like I've said to people before, you know, like they come in, they're busted, and it's like, I don't care if you sit in a row for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
At least you got in through the door and you did something instead of lying in bed and doing nothing.
And do you know what? Sometimes that's actually going to bring them back to the point where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that actually.
Actually, there was a girl this morning didn't want to do the conditioning. I was sick for a couple of days and stuff, so I'll come in and do my squats and stuff, and then I'll just go. I said, yep, fine, no problem. And then as soon as we started to go down and do the conditioning workout, next thing she's grabbing her dumbbells, getting ready to go, and she's like, see, it just took you getting in the door and warming up and doing something, and then that's you completely in a different mindset.
Yeah. I'm actually going to bring people back to, so we discussed it when we were talking about our favourite books, and we were talking about habit stacking, right? Now I'm going to relate this in particular, like going to the gym, and trying to build a good habit of going to the gym, because this really matters, especially for this episode, because if you, the listener, if you find yourself going all in at certain times of the year, you know, I've got a holiday coming up, I'm going to go all in, but then as soon as I come back from the holiday, I'm done.
Yeah, you forget all about it.
You forget all about it. Literally the smallest thing that you can do, like let's say it's do one push-up, it's always going to lead to more. Let's say it's even putting on your gym gear, it's always going to take you out of that, like what you said, all or nothing or something.
Yeah.
Just do something, like the smallest thing, read one page. Like the smallest thing is going to take you off of that sort of downward spiral, we'll call it, and it's going to bring you back in line.
I think the example you were talking about, the habit stacking in terms of people making it easier for themselves to get to the gym. James Clear was talking about the girl who really, really hated going to the gym, but knew that she had to go up every morning and go to the gym and stuff. She wanted to cut as many processes out as possible, so she used to sleep in her gym gear. So she woke up in the morning, she was already ready. So there was no excuse there to not go, because it was already planned.
I actually had a friend, Chris Devaney. and he used to do exactly the same, because obviously as a fighter, we used to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning to go for runs.
Mm-hmm.
That's now that I think about it, it's actually a wee bit later, because I get up at 5 a.m. every day now. And you know, even that's a difficult habit to sustain.
Yeah.
Some days we've been doing it for the last, I don't know how many days, but like some days you just feel like going, I'll just have a lie on.
Even for 5-10 minutes.
For 5 or 10 minutes. But what Chris used to do is sleep in his gym gear,
Mm-hmm.
in his running gear. But also, if he was trying to drop weight for like a competition, he would have wore a black bag to bed.
Sleeping in it?
Yeah, because well, you know, over the top of it, because as fighters used to, I mean, there's more sort of there's better developed technology now and better developed sort of knowledge on how to lose weight.
Yeah.
But we're talking like 20 years ago.
Just sweating in his sleep.
Sweating in his sleep. So, and then he didn't have to put it on the next morning. So he's just straight up black bag on and away out. And it's like,
That's
geez,
crazy.
there's got to be easier ways to do that. Like
That is all. That's all can be.
I know. For God's sake.
So see if we're talking about, so we've gave a load of examples about things about fitness and getting to the gym and being all or nothing in terms of like changing body composition or whatever, if you want to call it that. Are there any like examples of people, or maybe yourself, that you've come into touch with that have went all or nothing in their business, and what kind of an effect that has? So if someone, for instance, is like building a business, they're all or nothing to get it off the ground, and then something stops them, or people who are going all or nothing can't keep the momentum going and lose heart. Is that something that you've seen?
I actually come across that quite a bit. I suppose in our game, you know, from personal trainers, and this is a big thing that I would speak to a lot of personal trainers about that's coming through our course. This industry will consume you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it will just take over your life, because it doesn't feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
You're working with people who are positive, and you're making a positive impact on people, and it can be so easy to get so caught up in it all, and then like forget about the other stuff as well. Right?
All the admin sort of things, and
well, you just kind of, you know, you're going crazy for it.
Yeah.
Everything's about fitness, and you're just going mental, especially like in the first year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I was doing 14-hour shifts in the gym floor, just because I loved what I was doing. I was helping people, but I didn't realise that there was other stuff going on outside. I suppose, you know, that's an all.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas I should have been taking time away from that, being at home with my family, doing other things apart from just working 14 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a warning that I give to a lot of personal trainers that are coming through our course at Elite. I suppose, you know, I see some examples of trainers just not showing up at all. Like, and literally the gym closing down. Like, I know one or two gyms in particular that the guys just didn't show up, and they took off like, you know, like an absolute Ferrari out of the blocks. Had a ton of clients, and then just one day, can't do this no more. I'm gone.
What do you think brings that on?
I think it's probably just a culmination of probably one going too hard at it, and then once the smallest thing goes wrong, or they're possibly anxious about something, having to deal with the stuff that's not just training people, they're probably then, do you know what, this is too difficult, I gotta go, I gotta bail here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that happen a few times, and it's sad because it's a great industry, but it's a difficult industry as well. And I think a lot of people don't actually realise that from the outside. They think, you just stand there in a tracksuit all day and get paid, and it's all good. But there's a lot of work that goes into being a coach, being a gym owner, being an entrepreneur. Like, there's a lot of work goes into that, and you have to deal with a lot of things day and daily. And I think sometimes people don't realise that, and then once they get in there and they're not pre-warned about it, then they're like, I gotta bail here. You know, it's either I'm all in here, or, you know, it's nothing. I would say, like, if that is you, if you're a gym owner or you're a personal trainer, just reach out to someone who's who's been in your shoes and who can guide you on it.
Yeah.
You know, that's super important. If I could sort of reflect back on what I would do differently, I think we were talking about this here a few weeks ago in my business, it would be to get a coach sooner than what I did.
Yeah.
Because I know it would have progressed me so much faster than what I did as well.
Yeah, that kind of goes alongside, you know, in terms of getting a business coach, but you know, if you want to talk about it in fitness as well,
Yeah.
a fitness coach, someone who's been through the problems that you're likely to go through,
Yeah.
knows how to fix them, can maybe help you avoid some of the unnecessary mistakes. Like I'm sure there are mistakes that people need to make
Yeah.
to, you know, like develop as a character and stuff. But there's no need to do it in such a stressed out mindset where you're going, you know, tunnel vision,
Yeah.
nothing but the goal, and then as soon as something messes up, then it's all down the drain.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you know, the term life coach gets thrown about quite loosely today. But when you were talking earlier, you were saying about, you know, your dad.
Mm-hmm.
He had said to you, Stephen, you gotta get your shit together here. Like, you can't do this here. You can't, you know,
Keep going the way
keep
I'm
going
yeah.
the way you're going. So essentially, the information is there.
Mm-hmm.
If you look for it.
Yeah.
If you go to someone, obviously your dad's whatever age he is,
Yeah.
he's been about and he's seen a lot of things in life. And if you go to someone who's probably gained a lot more experience in life than you and get some outside perspective, because a lot of the times you can't read the label from inside the bottle.
Yeah.
You just kind of, like you said, you get the blinkers on and you're just going.
Yeah.
And then someone else comes in and says, here, you're doing shit wrong here, you need to fix this. It's like, holy
And
shit.
you freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, again, that could be the line that you talked about, where you cross that line and then you take action.
Yeah, you change things.
Yeah.
And anything that you're probably going through with the hurdles or the things that are getting in your way that are causing you the stress to make you think, I'm done, I don't want to do it anymore. Chances are someone's been through it.
Yep.
So you just need to look for someone who's done it before.
Yeah.
And then they'll sit you and go, calm yourself.
Yeah, I actually, so now that we're talking about this, so my dad's been an entrepreneur for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been about and he's experienced a fair bit in life. And I remember going to him, it was a few years ago now, and I was like, Daddy, I just feel like quitting. It's just so difficult. You know, running a business is difficult. Life is difficult. And he kind of just looked at me and he sort of laughed. And he was like, John, I've been doing this here for nearly 30 years and it's still difficult for me. So more or less, get fucking over it and get back to work.
Get used to it.
Yeah. do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes all you need is that small bit of perspective just to get you back on board.
Yeah.
But it's important that you look for it instead of being blind to it.
Yeah. And probably a sub note onto that as well, not looking for the instant gratification of success, whether it's in business or fitness.
Yeah, because it's so easy, especially today, like we said earlier, we live in the type of society that we live in, but our brains just aren't built for it.
Yeah, we just want everything now,
Yeah.
and it's not the case. And it's, whenever you see everybody else who seems to be having everything their way, and they have everything that you want or you're going towards, especially just the flick of your phone, like it's tough to not want to be able at times.
I know, for sure. Will you cut it there today, yeah?
I think so.
Good stuff. Well, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and if you have, where can people find us, Stephen?
We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, and I think
Instagram?
Yeah, we're going to be on Instagram, and we are on
Our personal page?
called YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
I forgot all about that. Okay, so hit us up on Instagram. What's your Instagram name?
Instagram is @CoachStevo Hybrid.
Mine is M_J_Lennon1, I think. But you'll find it anyway. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, make sure you share it with a friend.
See you later.